for our very first guest, I'm so excited to bring Dr. Rondy Smith, the founder, the dreamscape creator of a place called Rest Stop Ministries in Wilson County. And today it's a special day, and I hate that we have to have this day.
Is National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. And so, as you said, we hate that it is an issue, but it is a huge issue, and we have to be aware. And we're so thankful that really through the last several presidential administrations, there has been a presidential proclamation that this would be a national day recognizing this issue, how important it is for us to talk about the crime of domestic human trafficking. So I think it's just wonderful that on your inaugural broadcast, it happens to be this date, and we can be on to talk about this, Devin. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, I was kind of, I was a viewer as you had the dream to start tackling this right here in Middle Tennessee. Let's talk about human trafficking and the numbers and why it's important to know about it in Middle Tennessee.
Okay, so I will start with a global figure and then we'll work down to Middle Tennessee, but 40 million people enslaved around the world today. And that is both in labor trafficking and sex trafficking, but sex trafficking is the larger crime. 80% of those numbers would be females, 50% of that number, children. Traffic for the purpose of sexual exploitation, Devin. And it is a domestic issue, 300,000 children at risk to be trafficked in the United States of America annually. And then in Tennessee, we have figures that suggest roughly 100 minors per month in our state. So 1,200 of our own children being trafficked for the purpose of sexual exploitation right here in Tennessee.
That's horrific.
It's horrific.
Absolutely horrific. And I always have heard things like if you have interstates that cross through your town, you have human trafficking. If you have truck stops and places of transportation, you have human trafficking. If you have a major sports franchise, you have human trafficking. Well, we kind of cover all of those.
Mm-hmm. We do. The 65-40-24 corridor that comes in and out of Nashville, being 4 hours north of Atlanta and that busiest airport in the nation, and then just such a huge trafficking issue in Atlanta. Being a tourist destination, unfortunately, for Nashville now, that's one of the downsides of being a tourist destination is where you have tourism, you have sex tourism. And it's so very sad. But Devin, it's not just those things. Literally, wherever you have the lust driving a demand for sexual favors, if you will, you have human trafficking. So that can be anywhere. And if there were not a demand for these services, there would not have to be a supply for these services. But more and more and more, we are seeing our culture the appetite, the sexually explicit appetite of our culture. It means it's in every community.
Well, in our community, you have been at the helm of a very important thing that is actually boots on the ground to not only stop human trafficking in our neck of the woods, but also you have been a part of rehabilitating and getting women out of the sex trade. So let's talk about Rest Stop Ministries. It's in Wilson County.
It is in Wilson County, and it's the hopeful part of this story. Yes, we have to understand the crime that we're trying to stop. That's the stop in Rest Stop. Stop this criminal oppression. But the rest is restore survivors, and that's what we've been labor focused on. We have been open for 5 years on a beautiful property called Good Hope Farms. And we have been in a campaign. You can go to our website, which is reststopministries.org. We've been in a campaign just sharing some of our impact that we've had over the last 5 years. 36 women whose lives have been transformed.
36, wow.
And that seems large to you because you understand it. To some people, that seems small. But we're a long-term residential restoration program, and they can stay with us up to full years. So it takes a long time to do this kind of rehabilitation from such horrific trauma. And so we're an 8-bed facility, but it's slow and steady in this work. It's the hardest work I've ever done, but to be able to help these women rehabilitate and re-enter society is some of the most rewarding work I've ever done.
Can you give an example of one of the stories?
Yeah, I love to give the story of Julie. And of course, that's not her real name, but we use that name when we talk about her because she represents so many of the different layers, and she busts some of the myths even of, this crime crosses all socioeconomic barriers, racial barriers, any kind of barrier that you can think of, it crosses them all. So Julie was a professional Caucasian woman, single mother who happened to fall into the white collar crime of, to help you have the kind of energy that you need to be able to work this professional nursing career actually and raise a child. Here's a little something that might help you. So she got addicted to prescription drugs, which made her very vulnerable it's one of the vulnerabilities to trafficking. Long story short, because she's also a single mother looking for love, maybe sometimes in the wrong places, but we don't even know who else out there, gets involved with a psychopath who she had no earthly idea, but holds her hostage in a hotel room for several months, using her drug addiction against her to traffic her out for his own financial benefit. And she lost everything in that process. But again, long story short, and it was a long process to rehabilitation, but she is now sober, raising her child again, got custody of her child again, taking care of an elderly father, just doing amazing things. But when I tell you that gal went to hell and back and literally almost lost her life several times, to be able to witness now her complete restoration, it's literally one, if only for her. That's what I tell people. If it had only been for her, this is why Rest Stop was supposed to open.
Well, if you go to the Wilson Post page here on Facebook, tagged to the top is a beautiful special with Nicole C. Mullen that Rondy and I were part of that raises funds for Rest Stop. And find out more of the Rest Stop stories by watching that show. You can also go to reststopministries.org and you can donate time, talents, money. Just imagine if your house and they had to have all their needs met.
Yes, and thank you, Devin. Today, because of this special day too, we dropped a brand new video that we just produced that really gives people an inside look at Rest Stop Ministries. You get to kind of tour our property and tour the 2 beautiful homes where we do this amazing work. So yes, go to our social channels and our website and take a tour today and learn more about us and get engaged. If you're in our area, we would love to have you volunteer. Just thank you for pointing out our work today.
Well, I am grateful to you for what you did. I want to talk to you on a personal level, Rondy, because there are a lot of people at the beginning of this year, and especially after the year we've had, who feel like, what I've been doing is just not enough. But just in the grand scheme of things, you were a very successful head of a department at a university, professor, and doing great things. You were in ministry, you were involved in so much, and you walked away to start this. And I laugh at what you said your husband called it.
When God calls and when he shines the light on something, you can never knowingly not walk in that light. And literally, I think he just said to me, you know what, you've had such privilege to really participate in the American dream for so long, and there are so many who never ever get that opportunity. And he just really shined the light on some populations that have been so marginalized, and it broke my heart. And it was time to do something. It was time to get our hands dirty and do something. And you mentioned my husband, and he has just been the wind beneath my wings. He is so wonderful to just support what God asked me to do. And it is true. Sometimes when you experience a breakthrough, it's a break with what you've done. And you have to break with some things to move into where God's calling you. And so we just did it, and there's been no turning back, and there's been no regrets.
Well, I am grateful to have you as part of our show today, and I appreciate you. So again, that is reststopministries.org. And for all the people who are watching or listening to our program at this time, I want you to know that whatever it is that you feel in your heart called to do, I want to encourage you to step into that. Step into that, even if it's just a little bit of a time. Now, not everybody's going to do it like Rondy. Just jump in with both feet.
Do something. And for such a time as this, our world needs hope and optimism and positivity, and people just diving in there and just doing the next thing that you can do to make this world a better place. You know, peace on earth, it's got to begin with me. It's got to begin with you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time today. I really, really appreciate you.
I love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Take care. Bye-bye. We are so glad that you joined us today. And it's also a time of the year when we are looking at things like open enrollment. You've heard the term open enrollment. A lot of people lost jobs this year, and they lost jobs based on changes in financial for a company where they were. But with that, you might have lost your health insurance, and you might be looking. And I want to encourage you to talk to my insurance guy. He really helped me when I was between jobs, and helped me understand, helped me find something that was affordable, helped me find something that would cover me if something happened, because you have just a short length of time after you're unemployed before you get employed again, or you have like 30 days that you need to get new insurance. And the best time to get insurance is when you have insurance. We all know this. So if you need some help, I want to talk about my friend Harvey Durham. HarveyDurham.com is a place where you can get some questions answered. You can tell him I sent you. Just Harvey, Harvey, Durham, Durham.com. There's a little chat box there, and he will, and if you've got some insurance, even if you've gone to the marketplace, he can put that plan up on a screen while you're watching, and via phone line, and you don't even have to go into an office. I mean, that's the cool thing, is that now our virtual world, we need a little help. So go to HarveyDurham.com, just tell him I sent you, and say, hey, Harvey, would you look at my plan and compare mine to what you have to offer? And he's a broker. He can work for all sorts. And if you've got, now I can't help everybody. There's some insurances that in some illnesses and things that are a little bit difficult. So you might have to go to the marketplace for something like that. But it's worth a look-see. Coming up later in our show, we've got Troy Castellano standing by, and he's my precious friend. And I love his music, and he's an amazing writer, and we're going to be talking about him. Every part of our show is to feature fun things to see and fun things to do. We have got some birthdays today, and I want to say happy birthday first to my friend Pamela Furr from WWTN. She does news there at 99.7. Happy birthday. And to Jeff Hood, my friend from Zaxby's. He's one of Jeff. Vicki Brown-Dickey, Steve Pope, a fabulous song plugger and friend of mine. Mark Bell, a great worship music director here in town. Scotty Davis, Jeff Brown, Steve McComb, a singer-songwriter, Linda Anderson, and Robin Litton. If you have a birthday that you'd like a shout out for, we invite you to get in touch with us. You can send me an email at any time, Devin O'Day. You can just go to Main Street Today Radio at gmail.com. I'm going to go on to talk to our friend Troy Castellano, because he is connected. Hi, Troy. Are you in My Blue Heaven studio?
Hey, Devin. Yes, I am.
Very, very, very cool.
Over 2020, things started out really great. I mean, I don't want to get into the dark side of things, but it's like, had got a new office on Music Row with a partner, and we started our publishing company. Well, we kind of combined our publishing companies and started writing out of on the row, and trying to make some leaps and bounds. And then shortly after we got going, COVID hit and locked everything down. And then, nobody was in town. So ended up letting that go. But that was last year's plan, was to just get more into the row and make, face-to-face relationships with people doing business. And all of that changed, unfortunately, out of our control. But so, last year I didn't do any really big YouTube shows. This year I've been just like everybody, kind of experimenting online with things. Like I love playing guitar, and just recently, after Eddie Van Halen passed, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I used to play that kind of guitar stuff like that, and I got into guitar videos, and one of them shot up. It's got like 18,000 plays on it, and so that's kind of a thing that takes me aside. There's no pressure. There's not chasing anything. It's just me playing the guitar on a screen.
Well, I love it. And you can follow Troy Castellano's YouTube channel to see all of this.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, how in the world do you stay positive?
I look up and I go, you got this, right? There's a plan. And I don't have to carry all that weight on my shoulders because there's something bigger going on. I always feel like that. So that's a little relief there. The other thing is, I just kind of dove back into my studio here, this space you see behind me. It's a glorified shed, but it's like home for me right now. I have all my kids at home, and well, before I go there, it's like what I do is just immerse myself in music. I just started like kind of switching gears. I slowed back on the writing. I do still co-write, but not like the day to day all the time. I've been blessed to have work come into the studio here, so I'm able to do that remotely for some clients, and the big thing of that is I get to pay my livelihood with what I like to do, make music. So that's a blessing. Even if it's meager, it's still a blessing, But that's it. And then I started writing a few songs on my own, and just making sure I have it no matter if there's anybody around me or not. I prefer to co-write because it's just so much easier.
I know, and you and I are going to finish that song this year.
Oh man, we have such a great idea, and that one I can't wait. I mean, I'm like everybody, we've kind of taken back, stepped back a bit and analyzing where do we put our time right now, because we just don't know what's going to go on tomorrow.
Right.
Another thing I started doing is, before I moved here, I actually produced a lot of, TVQ music for reality shows. And I reached out back to my connection in LA, and I started giving them a bunch more tracks. So that stuff ends up on a bunch of reality shows, like Pawn Stars, American Pickers, some stuff on Discovery, MTV. That's just another. It's like, if you're a musician, people think it's one job, but you're doing like 10 things musically, and they're all a little different and diverse from each other, just to pay your bills.
Absolutely. But music is music, and you find a way to do what you love, and then the money follows if you work really hard to find the pathway.
Yeah, you got to hustle, and you got to find the opportunities, and you also have to be available. You have to be available for it, because it's easy to shut off and not respond to things, and and then wonder why you're missing out on things. But that's a big part of it too. It's just being available.
Well, speaking of being available, do you have a guitar available or a piano that you could share with us, a new song for the day?
Well, I'm in my studio, so I don't have any instruments in here. I do. What do you want to hear?
I want to just hear what's on your heart today. I've always found that I can request something, but every musician always has something on their heart. And I will say that my friend Dave Montanbeau is standing by. So don't go away, because we're going to have jobs for you coming up.
Okay.
So I want everybody to stand by. Dave is in the waiting room right now, but we've got Troy. I love all your music. I love all of it. You gave me some CDs that you did, and then I discovered that I could find your music everywhere.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the best place to go, like, this is my direction for everybody. And instead of naming all these socials, just go to troycastellano.com. All of that's on there, plus more that I don't put out there is on my website. So,
All right.
I'll play a song. So this song I wrote by myself fairly recently, and it's kind of a homage to the songwriters and the musicians on Music Row and Broadway, and how, I have this thought, like when I came here and you're standing in the crowd listening to a songwriter, and you go, oh wow, they played this hit song you've known all your life, and then you go, oh, that's the guy that wrote it. Wow, that it still blows my mind this day. And same with the musician. You can go down on Broadway and somebody will go, oh, that guy played on Tim McGraw's big record. This part on there, that's him. And there they are down there working for a tip jar.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So this is what I wrote. It's called Rent from a Tip Jar. Still a few dim lights down on Broadway, burn just enough to see them through. Once they were the ones who shine brightly, now they're just overpaying their dues. Some say it's where old rock and rollers go to die. Still get to play that guitar like a 9 to 5. With all they're giving, it's a meager living. Perfectly content with being a cover band star, paying the rent from a tip jar. One day is always different from the other. Sometimes you're riding high, high-fiving your brothers and your sisters too. But the nights are long and the days, they are fleeting. Counting on the promises of a Music Row meeting. Some say it's where dreamers and poets go to die, pouring out their hearts in a song, 9 to 5. With all they're giving, it's meager living. Perfectly content with being a cover band star, paying the rent from a tip jar. All the places that they've been, all the stages that they've graced, through the highs and the lows, still in love with the chase. Some say it's where old rock and rollers go to die, pouring out their hearts in a song, 9 to 5. With all they're giving, it's meager living. Perfectly content with being a cover band star, paying the rent from a tip jar. Paying the rent from a tip jar. Paying the rent from a tip jar.
Troy
Thank you.
Castellano. Oh my gosh. I love the heart that you write with. I mean, you put everything into it, and you paint beautiful pictures. And I was introduced to your music by Chris Golden, a song
Yeah.
that you, Bill DeLuigi, wrote that was a powerful song called Grateful. And I encourage everybody to find that song and listen
Yeah.
to that as well.
I love that one too. And we all played out, me, Reed, and Bill. And I'm grateful for those guys. I'm grateful for people like you. There's a lot of heart in that song. And, people can hear that on my website as well. I did a version of it that I put out on my CDs that I sell at the shows. So, but
Well, thank you for your time today. And we encourage everybody to go to troycastellano.com. Everything is in the notes for this show. And if you're watching live or if you're watching on the replay on any of our Main Street channels, we encourage you to get involved in the music of Middle Tennessee and that goes out to the world, because it's not just Music City. This is a whole region of great music from people who have come from all over the country just to make music right here. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate you.
Hey, so good to see you. I really appreciate you having me, and God bless you. All right.
God bless you. Our very first musical guest for the whole year.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
You too.
All right.
We're going to head over to my friend Dave Montanbeau, who is standing by from AffordableInsuranceQuotes.com. How are you, Dave?
Good. That was an awesome song. Rent from a tip jar, wasn't it?
Yeah, paying rent from a tip jar. Troy's
that
got
was
some
a good
great
song.
music. Yeah. You
That was
know,
awesome. Well, if you can't pay rent if you don't got a tip jar and you're not a musician, I might have another way for you to pay your rent.
yes, if you need a job, you got to listen to my friend Dave Montanbeau. Dave is also the founder of an amazing nonprofit called Gobble Gobble Gift. He has a business because you can't just live on that, right?
I wish I could, and working on it one day, but not yet. The nonprofits and charity events definitely don't pay the bills. So until they do, I got to work away, right?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what affordable insurance and this company that you created. What is it, and what do you cover?
So affordableinsurancequotes.com is basically the Expedia of auto insurance. What we do is we check all the different insurance companies at once. And unlike other agencies or brokers, what we do, we don't charge any broker fees, agency fees. We don't try to build you a package that's just extra to get extra commissions for our agents. They don't work on commissions. I don't even feel like we have sales agents. They're customer service reps. So they call you and try to find the most affordable, hence the name affordableinsurancequotes.com, insurance there is for really auto. I mean, we do renters and as well as travel trailer and RV and boats and all that. But, it's something before, I went through and I hated paying insurance, and I hated that I had to spend 6 hours to call everybody to make sure I was getting a good deal. Because like a lot of people, I like getting a good deal. So I came up with affordableinsurancequotes.com, and here we are.
Well, now it's done so well, and you found some great buys for so many people. You need to hire people to help you with the phone work that you're doing.
Yep. So right now, what we did is we went to, when all the COVID stuff started, we went to our employees and said, do you want to work from home and just really, we're going to try our best, not to lay anybody off, or do you want to go full steam ahead and we'll do our best to remain safe and try to grow? And everybody said, come on, let's do this. So luckily we've gone through, none of us has gotten COVID. We've been extremely cautious in that regards and proactive. And so we actually have 12 positions open right now. And it's for really an office manager, admin, kind of receptionist position. A male or female would work. We have some agent in training roles. And then next month, we'll probably have some business development representative roles. So really our immediate need is just, you don't need to have a PNC license, your insurance license. As long as you have a good attitude, when you don't mind talking on the phone, we'll get you an interview.
Fantastic. Well, where do they need to go to apply for this job? There are 12 positions open. You have full-time, you have part-time. You told me even if all you got is 8 hours a week, and you just say, look, that's the day that I have got childcare, but I need a job for that 8 hours. So where do they go?
We'll do our best to try to find it for you. Yep. You can actually email me personally. I want to make sure that whoever, Devin, I think the world of you and your listeners are great and have really been such a support for Gobble Gobble Give and other stuff that we've done, that I want to make sure whoever contacts us, they don't get, they fall through the cracks or anything. So I'm going to personally handle your people and get them in the right hands of our CEO and get them an interview. So they can email me. It's David, just DAVID, and then at affordable, proper spelling, AFFORDABLE, insurance, again, proper spelling, INSURANCE, quotes, plural with an S on the end, QUOTS.com. That's David at affordable insurancequotes.com. And what I'll even do, if you don't need a job, what I will do for your listeners is the next 72 hours, if they want to call our office and get a quote and just really do an insurance kind of audit, make sure that they're not getting raked over the coals, and maybe could save 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. Let's just say we'll make sure to take extra good care of your people. The number is 1-800-777-6007. That's 1-800-777-6007.
Thank you, Dave. I adore you. You know that I do. And after all this craziness is over, and I leave my house again, we're gonna have another dinner.
We are definitely gonna have another dinner, and I don't know. I don't know what was better: the music, the dinner, the place. The company was the best. So. It was
well, thank you for that.
Wonderful evening.
Thank you for that. Well, God bless you, my friend. And I
wanted to kind of leave your listeners with one more thing. I haven't always owned a company or had a charity that fed homeless. I was actually kind of down and out, lost everything, and homeless myself. And just remember, I know, God, a day is sometimes so hard to get through. We're thinking about a month, but just know that every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around. And truly, you can make a decision and decide something, and it doesn't take long to have a completely different life if you want one. That's all. Devin, you're amazing. We don't have the best reception where I'm at in Georgia right now. I'm down here for the weekend, but many blessings to all of you. Mwah.
Thank you, my darling. And I want to encourage everybody, if you need a job, affordableinsurancequotes.com. We'll put all of the contacts and everything for the notes for this show. And I so appreciate that you guys were here and a part of it. Just remember, as we close, be safe, be kind, and just remember, you're loved. Goodbye.